Hey everybody, how are you? You're with me. I'm going to go ahead and get this shared into my other pages as soon as it pops up on my Facebook. I'm so excited. I got a couple of really yummy recipes for you guys tonight, and they're both brand new, so you're learning them with me. And no practicing, y'all. We're real here. We do everything right from reality. We don't sugarcoat nothing here. Let me see if this comes up. Alrighty, so it's Thursday, and oh, there we go, right there. I need to turn my volume off so we don't get this background noise here. I have been wanting to make this recipe, one of these recipes, definitely. Been wanting to make it for quite a while, and just hadn't really gotten around to it, so I'm really excited to be able to do that tonight. Let me get this shared. Boom. First link, copy. What is for dinner tonight, y'all? Comment in the below. Tell me what you decided. I know what I'm gonna. Awesome. All right. I mean, Facebook is being a little wonky. First snickety. There's one. Y'all bear with me. You gotta go through some hoops. So, dinner party, work dinner party. Alrighty, there we go. Woohoo! Another minute to go. I got some in from one of my parties. So we're gonna have literally been looking forward to tonight. I'm gonna use for you and show you some. First thing, banana, and they look so. They definitely not healthy. This is I've been wanting to make them. I love bananas and walnuts. So look, then we're gonna make an Italian rice bake. This is gonna be so simple. You see how fast it takes longer to cook than it does to. So this is one of those things. You get home, want to dump everything in the oven. You go take homework done. You just do what you got. Back, set the table. Dinner is done. Easy peasy. All right, let's get started with our banana. I've already got my oven 150 degrees. Banana walnut bars on our large brown white. This is a partial stone, and the middle are not glazed, but this gorgeous off-white color. I love it. Love it. The thing I want to tell you too, in your stoneware and you have a smooth or glass, you want to make sure that you put underneath stoneware because it will scratch the surface of your. So, and these are perfect. They're what size stoneware? You've always placed 3 bits. Use them all together, or they're perfect. Top, what have you. So I'm going to leave that because I only need one of them tonight. So instead of, we're going to oil our stone. Okay, now obviously there's a lot of different ways that you can oil your stone. I'm going to build up all of that good, all that non-stick surface with your stoneware. That is to use. I didn't tighten this. Now I have our kitchen, which I have a little bit of vegetable oil in. Normally I don't put on these. So I have my kitchen spritzer. I can pump that up and use that. I also use my olive or my dispensers. It has regular veggie oil. Oh no, this has got olive oil in it to bake with too. It's not going to impart. If you use it sparingly. The things that I love about it is it's got these little squeezy sides on it. Use it, and it pushes the oil up into the reservoir. Now I've got. Okay, I'll use it for something else. And you have there so you can see exactly how much you have. You can just what you need and pour that out, and you don't have to worry about over pouring because I've done that in the past. It's like, okay, I need a drizzle, and I tip it too much, and I've got a lot of oil, and that's not really what I needed. So for this kitchen spritzer, and I'll show you how that works. If you don't have one of these, I really highly recommend it versus the canned aerosol. Not only having all the propellant, it has some additives, and we definitely recommend that you use an aerosol non-stick cooking spray on any of our cookware because really nasty residue buildup, and you will never ever see it non-stick again. I highly recommend just regular oil, just vegetable oil, no propellants, no additives, no nothing, just plain oil. So oil up, put your oil in up to this mark, and then you tighten your top, and then you just pump it. Your pressure, and then you're going to spritz. And I think it is time. Mine's been kind of, it's time for a good scrub, and I haven't done that yet, so I need to take that apart. So I will do that, and I think I'm going to use the other one because it's just hissing at me just a second ago. So I need to take it apart. There we go. There we go. All right, and we're there. I just didn't like that position. I think I got some buildup in there that I need to get rid of, and that'll help. Okay, so we're just going to spritz it. It doesn't have to be much. That's it. Now when you're done, you want to always loosen it, so you don't ever want to store it with pressure. Put your cap back on and just set it aside. All right. So we have to, obviously, we have our bananas. We have 2 small-ish bananas. The recipe calls for a large banana, but I don't have a large one, so I'm going to use 2 small ones. I love bananas, so I'm not going to waste it. I'm going to throw it in anyway. I also have some walnuts. It calls for a half a cup. That's a little more than a half a cup. But you know what? It's okay because I'm going to use them in oatmeal or overnight oats. So chopping some extra. Great tip for meal prepping too. Anytime you're chopping something, chop extra and put it away. Whether it's an onion or walnuts, cashews, whatever, and you see I almost knocked that over. Trust me, you guys, every single time you guys watch a video of mine, you're going to see me drop something, spill something, knock something over. Trust me, it's live, it's real. So I am not perfect. Pampered, not perfect. That's our saying. All right, so anything you're chopping, do it one time. Put some extra away. Onions, tomatoes, peppers, whatever, carrots, celery, whatever. Chop it up, chop a little extra and put it in the fridge, put it aside. Because that way, when you are ready to cook another meal that has that ingredient, you don't have to chop again. You've got it ready. Even if you're not cooking one this week, you've got a whole onion, but your recipe doesn't need a whole onion. Chop it up anyway and throw it in a baggie and throw it in the freezer. That way, when you need that half an onion, you've got it and it's already chopped. You just thaw it out a little bit, throw it in your recipe, whether it's sauteed for soup or for going in ground beef or whatever you got going on. It's already ready to go and you are half the way there. So we're going to go ahead and chop up our nuts and set those aside. I'm using English walnuts. Now you can use anything, even though this recipe says banana walnut, you could certainly use pecans. You could use cashews, peanuts, whatever you like. Make it you. Just put them under there, just in that little container. Scooch them all in there, okay? And just pound it. And that's all you do. And boom, they're chopped. I don't have to stand here with a knife. I don't have to chase them halfway across the cutting board, off of the cutting board onto the floor, which usually what I do when I try to chop them with a knife. I like knives. I don't mind using knives, but I got some knife skills, but still, I always end up chasing nuts halfway across the floor. All right, so like I said, we got a little bit more than a half, but that's quite all right. We're gonna pop those right in there. All right, so set that aside. I'm not gonna need the chopper for anything else. We're gonna get our cutting board out of the way because everything else is mixing and fixing. All right, so let's get started with the rest of the recipe. I have my large mixing bowl, and to that I'm going to go ahead and add some melted butter. I have half a cup of melted butter, vegan butter. If you're vegan, you can use vegan butter, you can use coconut oil, whatever you prefer. If you regular butter is fine too. And we're going to take that, and we have, I told you this recipe wasn't exactly healthy. It's got a lot of brown sugar. So you can augment that. You can substitute whatever you want. If you don't want that much sugar, you want to use a sugar substitute, you can try that too. This is 1.5 cups of brown sugar. Okay. I'm going to add, oh, shout out to my Tupperware lady, Yvonne Silver. I love you. All right. So love my Tupperware too. Right, now I have my melted butter. Now it's warm, slightly warm. It's not hot. So when I add my eggs in here, it's not going to scramble my eggs. So we're going to put that, melting that right in this cute little milk pan. These came out a few years ago and fell in love with them. And hubby likes it so much, he actually got his own. Yeah. Uses it for hot oatmeal. If I don't make overnight oats, he'll get up in the morning, he'll make oatmeal, he'll use that milk pan. So it's perfect. All right, so I'm gonna get my little whisk out because I don't need my big one. And we're just gonna whisk that around a little bit just to get that moistened. All right. Now, the next item, I feel like the price is right there. The next item up for bid, right? All right, so next we're going to go ahead and add our flour, salt, and banana. So I have a whopping 1.5 cups. Oh no, wait, sorry. So I told you. Yeah, 1.5 cups of flour. This is all-purpose flour. So if you want to do gluten-free, you can certainly use a gluten-free substitute. Almond flour might work out pretty well for you. Or Bob's Bakery has a great one-for-one swap, as does King Arthur flour. Okay, so if you're gluten-free. All right, so we're gonna dump that in. We have 2 eggs. We're gonna pop those in. And we're gonna add our vanilla. Lost my towel. Now I'm using my double strength Madagascar bourbon vanilla. This is pure vanilla. This is only available during the holidays, so I snagged me a couple bottles. And you have to remember, you only use half. It's double strength, so you don't need to use near as much as you think you might do, and it packs a nice flavor. So I'm going to use my measuring spoons. These are my clear plastic measuring spoons, and they all clip together. I love that, so I don't lose them in the drawer. I don't lose them in my cupboard. They all stay together nice. And this calls for a teaspoon, so it's double strength. We're going to use half a teaspoon. And we're going to pop that in there. There we go. Oh, that smells good. I wish y'all had smell-o-vision. That really smells good. All right, let me get my spatula. I'll get all this brown sugar out of here. This is really going to be sweet, y'all. I can tell already. But that's okay, because you know what? Most of it's going to go to work with me tomorrow, I think. Send some to work with hubby. I'll take some to work. All right. Oh, you know what? I forgot my mashed banana. I'm going to need to do my banana. All right. I think we're going to use that bowl a little lower. Another good tip for bananas, if you start to get them too dark, like I'm not a big fan once they start getting speckles on them like that. They're super sweet, but I like mine just a little bit on the green side. Hubby doesn't mind. He'll eat them when there's a really dark. Throw them in the freezer just like this. Don't peel them. Don't put them in anything. Don't have to mash them ahead of time. Just put them right in the freezer just like they are. Mother Nature gave them a wonderful container called the skin, so you don't even have to do anything. When you're ready to use them, just snip off the end. After they're thawed out a little bit, snip off the end and squeeze them right out, and you've got mashed banana. It's perfect. Perfect solution. No muss, no fuss. All right, so we're, like I said, we're gonna do 2 bananas because these are kind of small-ish. So we're gonna pop them in there, and I'm just gonna mash them up with a fork. If I'm doing a lot of bananas, I would go ahead and use like the mix and chop. But since we're only doing a couple, I'm not gonna use the mix and chop for that. Alrighty. And you can mash them up to whatever your tastes are. If you like them a little chunky, you can leave them a little chunky. If you want to really mash them good, you can do that too. Recipes are all about you and what works for you. It's not a hard, fast rule, except when you're baking bread. When you're baking bread, experiment later. Do your recipe, learn the dough. I cannot stress that enough. I went for years and years not making yeast breads because I just couldn't do it. Every loaf I tried failed miserably. I mean, we're talking bricks, okay? It was horrible. Horrible. All right, there we go. there's our mashed banana. We're gonna pop that in. And it calls for salt. I am not going to add salt. I prefer not to. Some recipes you really kind of need that chemical reaction, but this one I don't think is one of them. So I'm gonna try it without, and you know what? If it doesn't work, I'll know better next time, right? But we try not to use salt if we can keep from it. So many foods have naturally occurring sodium, so you don't really need the salt. I know I see folks a lot who will, as soon as they sit down, they haven't even tasted their food and they grab that salt shaker, you know, and go to town. And I'm like, I tried that one time just for giggles, just to see what they were experiencing, and all I could taste was salt. I couldn't taste anything else. I could just taste the salt. So I'm like, yeah, no. So if that's your thing, more power to you. Okay, everybody's got their thing and everybody's different, so that's fine. There we go. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna fold in our chocolate and our nuts. Okay, so I'm not gonna do all of this because remember, this is way more than what we need. Although, oops, you know, hey, I like nuts. Nuts are yummy. And it calls for chopped chocolate, okay? Like milk chocolate chopped up. I don't have any, so that's okay. I'm gonna substitute. I have some teeny tiny little morsels. Milk chocolate, semi-sweet, and white chocolate. And I'm, you know, thinking, I need to use these up. They'll work. So, there we go. It's all good. It's all good. There we go. We'll mix all that in. God, it smells good, you guys. Really, really good. All right, there we go. And we're gonna take this and we're just gonna put it right on our stone. I'm gonna get it over here where you guys can see it. Get some of this other stuff. Oh, there you go. All right, that in view. And then we're gonna just plop this right out here and we're gonna smooth it out. Gosh, that smells good, y'all. Seriously. Absolutely yummers. All right, so we're gonna spread that around and get that in the oven. And this is, it's just a bar cookie. That's all it is. It's just a bar. We're gonna top it with a little powdered sugar and some cinnamon. And I have our Korinji cinnamon, which is very yummy. You could certainly use whatever you have on hand. That's fine. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the oven. It's at 350 degrees, and it's only gonna bake for about 30 to 35 minutes. So by the time, literally, it probably won't even be done by the time we get our meatballs ready to go in. But they have to go in at a higher temperature, so we'll have to wait for that. All right, pop that in there. One of the things I do want to remind you of too is to make sure that you know your oven. Anytime you're trying a new recipe, know where your hot spots are in your oven, because every oven has them. Every oven has a hot spot or two. Sometimes there'll be just one spot that cooks really super crazy dark and someplace else doesn't. A great way to test, especially if you're getting into baking, sourdough breads or any kind of yeast breads, cookies, if you're a cookier like me, you want to make sure that you check your oven. So get the largest cookie sheet you have, but it can't go all the way to the edges because you need that airflow. Line it with bread, cheap white bread, pop it in, 350 degrees, and then you can watch and see how it browns. And that's going to tell you where your hot spots are in your oven, so you'll know where to place things. It may be that you may have to turn things around. You may have to slide them to one side of the oven or slide them to the other side, but it will help you accommodate your hot spots and adjust your temperature accordingly. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And then we're gonna get started on our next recipe. wash the hands. Alrighty. So our next recipe is so yummy, and it is so flippin' easy to put together. You guys are gonna be amazed. I will tell you, I made the meatballs for this recipe. I did not buy store-bought meatballs. Now, all over me. Our lemon and garlic meatballs that's in our New Season's Best cookbook, and I fell in love with them. Now, you know I don't do meat, right? You know we don't eat meat in this house. No meat, no dairy, so I'm using all vegan or vegan options. This is the Impossible ground meat and we followed the recipe just from A to Z in our New Season's Best. So this is our pseudo Italian meatballs with our lemon garlic seasoning, and they are so good. Panko breadcrumbs, lemon garlic seasoning, pepper, onion, and it's so very, very yummy. So I made 2 batches of them. I'm like, you know what? Why not? We'll hang on to them, and then boom, I saw this recipe for this Italian meatball rice bake. I was like, that's the one. That's the one. Now the vessel that we're going to be baking in is this gorgeous, gorgeous thing. This is our enameled cast iron roaster, and it comes with a rack that I actually have in the dishwasher right now. So it's got a roasting rack with it with handles so that you can actually use it to roast a bird or pork roast, beef roast, whatever you want to roast. I've used this without the rack, obviously, for lots of veggies. It's a great lasagna pan. That cast iron is going to hold the heat nicely, so it's going to help keep your lasagna nice and warm while everybody else is being served. So tonight, all we have to do, don't have to oil it, nothing. It's just like it is. We're going to literally dump everything in it. I do want to talk about this pan a little bit more because I want to remind people that it is cast iron. And you see it is enameled all the way around except for this edge. So that edge will rust if you don't wash it and dry it properly. Okay? Enamel cast iron is the bomb diggity. Literally, it's like beautiful. Very seldom does anything stick in my enamel cast iron. And if it does, it comes right off with my little scraper. It's amazing. It's like, scrape it and boom, it's done. I can caramelize onions in it. I can, add a little bit of wine or a little bit of veggie broth or water and deglaze that pan, and it comes right up, and I still get all of that wonderful flavor from the fond that's in the bottom of that pan. So, so yummy. But this literally is, along with our Dutch oven, the Dutch oven makes a fantastic vessel for baking your sourdough or artisan bread loaves. And I have had 2 of them in my oven at a time baking bread, so it's totally possible. And it makes the best bread. Awesome. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our recipe for this Italian meatball and rice bake. So, so, so super easy. Because let me tell you what, if you really want to get easy peasy with it, jar sauce, can of tomatoes, your meatballs, we got our broth, our Italian seasoning, mozzarella, and we have our Parmesan, of course. They're plant-based options. It's so, so very simple. And our rice. And what can be easier than that? And you don't even have to cook the rice ahead of time. You're going to put it right in the pan with everything else. Now, with that said, if you do have leftover rice, that makes this so much faster to make and get on the table in the middle of a busy weeknight. Take your rice, your already cooked rice, and follow the directions, shorten your baking time, thaw out your meatballs a little bit ahead of time, pop them in the microwave if you want to defrost them a little bit. And you can have this on the table in about 10 to 15 minutes. You just need to get it hot at that point. And top it with your cheese. Bob's your uncle, Nan's your aunt. Yep. All right. So let's start our recipe. We've got our oven. It's already preheating. Obviously, we have our banana walnut bars in there at 350. As soon as they come out, I'm going to jack it up 25 degrees to 375. And we're going to literally pop the top on your marinara. Whole jar. Dump it in. Legit. Dump it in there. Okay. Now, I like to take my jar. If I use jar sauce, I don't normally use jar sauce, but I'm using jar sauce tonight for this recipe. I'm going to take some of my veggie broth, and you can use, it calls for chicken broth. I'm using veggie broth, homemade veggie broth. And I'm going to clean out that bottle. I used to watch my mama do this. I'm like, why? Just throw it out. No, she wants every little bit of goodness out of there. Here we go. And we're going to put the rest of the broth in there. This is our easy read measuring cups. And I love these cups because literally they have the measurements right here. So that you have this setting down on the counter. You don't have to get down there and look. You can see at a glance exactly the measurement you need to stop at if you're pouring in veggie broth or, you know, some of the kind of liquid that you need to be pretty exact. No more bending down trying to look at it at the counter while you got it sitting on the counter level. We were taught that. I remember that home ec, junior high, took home ec, 8th grade, and I remember them telling us to take this measuring cup, set it on the counter, back up and scunch down and pour. And I'm like, okay, that's fine when you're young and nimble. When you get older and stiff, no. So we're going to use these. All right, and I love that because I don't have to be a contortionist to see what I'm pouring and get the right measurement. So we're going to add our tomatoes next. And I don't even get to show you our amazing can opener because this is a pop top. So this is fire roasted tomatoes. They are some of my ultimate favorites. I love fire roasted tomatoes, fire roasted peppers. Oh, yum, yum, yum. All right, so there we go. This year, hopefully my garden does really good because I'm going to do my own fire roasted tomatoes. Okay, and we're going to add our rice, and it calls for 2 cups of long grain wild rice. Or long grain rice, sorry, wild rice. And they got wild rice on the brain. You could do this with whatever kind of rice you want. If you only have basmati, use basmati. If you have brown rice, use brown rice. Do what you've got. Work from the pantry. This is a quick and easy pantry meal. Okay. There's one. And there's 2. Oh, here comes the troops. The pups. Do not knock over Mama's camera. All right, so we've got that in there. And the seasoning mix, we need, let's see, 2 tablespoons of our Italian seasoning. I'm gonna get I lose my tablespoons here. I did. Oh, there they are. 2 tablespoons of our Italian seasoning. Now, a little tip with our seasonings and spice blends. They do not have any anti-caking agents in there at all, okay? So it's just the real deal. So if you live in a very humid area, you are definitely going to want to keep this little seal, fold it back. If you're sprinkling, okay, put your cap back on. You're gonna open this up, and then you can sprinkle out of a portion of that lid, okay? When you're done, take it off. Fold this back down and put your cap back on tightly. I will also say a lot of people have this great big pot of simmering yumminess, and they'll take this and they'll go, if I can get it, get it turned around, and they go sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. Well, that steam goes right up into your jar. So when you have a hot dish that you're putting seasoning in, take it away from that steam. Put it in your hand, even if you're that kind of person, like I eyeball and I throw it in. So put it in your hand and then put it in the pot without putting this over your steaming pot, okay, or steaming skillet or what have you, because that steam going in there is going to help cake that up. And especially our seasoning blends that have a little sugar, garlic, garlic has a lot of natural sugar. So how many times have you have garlic and onion that right after you get it, you rip that top off, you put the shaker top on, put it in your cupboard, and within weeks, it's like a rock. Yeah. It has a lot of natural sugars in there. And if there's no anti-caking agents that you really don't probably want to eat, you're going to want to be extra careful. So I always tell folks, don't rip that inner seal off all the way. Peel it halfway back and fold it. Sprinkle out what you need to or pour out what you need to, and then fold it back and put it back. I've never had an issue with it since I've been doing that. So literally, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to sprinkle out. There's 1 tablespoon. That's about all I got of this bad boy. I'm going to have to order some more. There we go. And fold that paper back down. Put your cap back on. Screw it closed, and then you can go back on your wrap. All right. Oh, this smells good, y'all. All right. So if you don't have meatballs, I will tell you something else that's really, really yummy. And if you don't want the fat that's in these meatballs, baby Bella mushrooms, okay? You can saute them up first and then put them in here if you would like to, and then all you got to do is heat it up. Mushrooms, yes, mushrooms, amazing. You can use portobello mushroom strips. It's perfect for that. So let's go ahead and we're going to stir this up, and then we're going to cover it, put our meatballs in there, and we're just going to cover it. So literally, all we've done is dumped this in the pan, right? That's it. That is totally it. All right. So let's get our meatballs in. Again, these are still frozen. These are our lemon garlic meatballs, which we all know are, in this house, not real meat. It's the Impossible, because we don't do the Impossible very often, so because it has got a lot of coconut oil in it, and we try to stay away from oil, as well as meat and dairy. So we do only do this as a splurge. And what I'm going to do, once this is all cooked, I'm going to portion it out, and that's going to be lunches, and I can pop it right in the freezer just like it is, in portions, and have it ready for dinner. I can have it ready for work lunches, whatever you got going on. All right, so stir those in. Make sure they're all happy in there. All right, so now we're going to cover this with some foil and get that ready to go in the oven. And we still got a little ways on this. See, that didn't take long at all. Literally, if you didn't have me standing here talking, it would take probably about 3.5 minutes to put this together. And literally, pop it in the oven, go do what you're going to do, get the kids, working on their homework, or, change your clothes, kick back, relax, chit chat with your household for a few minutes, and then get ready to have an amazing dinner. All right, so let's get these bags out of the way. And that's all there is to that. It's so very, very simple. So I'm going to set this aside over here. I'm going to split these apart so I have one, because I can't very well put it in the oven just yet. We're going to top this, once it's hot, we're going to go ahead and top this with some of our mozzarella, our vegan mozzarella, and our vegan Parmesan. All right. And then we'll toss this right into the oven. It's going to take about 40 to 45 minutes because you want that rice to be tender. And again, as I said, if you've got rice that's already cooked, use that instead. And you cut your cooking time down to less than half, because all you need to do at that point is warm it up, right? Make sure those meatballs are nice and hot. If you're using meatballs, or if you're using mushrooms, you know, saute them a little bit first and then throw them in there and let it rip. Mushrooms give off a whole lot of liquid, so I do suggest that you saute them first in a little bit of water or veggie oil, or not veggie oil, but vegetable broth, and just let them sweat out their liquid. It'll evaporate, and then they're ready to throw right in your dish. Otherwise, they give off a little bit more water once you get them in the sauce. Your rice is going to absorb some of that liquid, but it's not going to absorb everything, so you're going to want to make sure that you don't put too many other liquids in there. So while we're doing this, let's go ahead and take our, I'm going to get my half tablespoon. We're going to mix up our powdered sugar and cinnamon and get that ready to go on top of those bars. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar. So I've got my half tablespoon because I used my regular full tablespoon for our Italian seasoning, and I don't think I want Italian seasoning in my banana and walnut bars, right? All right, so there we go. And my little Twix-Its come in handy, y'all. I use them all over the house. In the kitchen, we have some in the motorhome, we have some out in the garage. I use them in my craft room. They are awesome. All right, so we have our Korenji cinnamon. I don't even know how to explain it. It's kind of a, I don't know, it's different than your regular cinnamon. It's not that typical, you know, red and white little container, little tin container in the store cinnamon. It's a little bit different. It has a little bit different flavor. I think it's kind of, it's milder or more mellow, if you will. And cinnamon is actually a bark. It's a tree bark. They peel it and grind it. So we need a quarter or half teaspoon. Let me see, I've got my half teaspoon. I didn't use it already. I used it. So we're gonna do 2 quarter teaspoons. There we go. Okay, I go through this stuff like crazy, so I don't even have the paper cover on it. I just literally blow through it. We're gonna stir that up a little bit just to make sure that it's all incorporated. Now, if you have an empty powdered sugar shaker, you can put this in there and just shake it right over your bars. If not, use a sifter. You've got a little handheld sifter that works too. So that's it for that. I'm going to go ahead and grate up some of our Parmesan because we're going to need that to go on top of our meatballs once that's done. Now I have grated vegan mozzarella. Let's face it, it's hard to find a vegan mozzarella. It's in a brick form. You're just not going to have that. But for those of you who like dairy, I mean really real cheese, I will suggest that you, instead of buying the shreds, the things that are already shredded, because it has things in it to keep it from sticking together. So if you read the labels, you're going to see exactly all of the additives that are in your pre-shredded cheese. Trust me, and it's going to save you money because you can take a brick of mozzarella, just an 8-ounce brick of mozzarella, and literally that's going to make that whole bag. Okay, a bag this size of regular cheese. That's 8 ounces of cheese, so there's a lot of air space in there. So if you're looking to save on your grocery bill and maximize your food dollars, start thinking about where you can spend a little bit of time and do some things ahead of time versus buying stuff that's already conveniently created or conveniently made up to ready to use. So meatballs are one of my go-tos. When I ate meat, I would make homemade meatballs. I would make a lot of them and put them in the freezer and have them ready to go. Because if I'm going to make one batch of meatballs, I might as well make 3 batches, you know? It's just as easy. It takes barely any more time. You just use a bigger cookie sheet and bake them in the oven. Like, really, who cares if they've got one flat spot? It's okay, because you're going to cover them in sauce, or you're going to put them in a sandwich, you know, whatever you're going to do with them. So it's a great way to maximize your time and minimize your food costs. Is cooking things ahead of time or making a little bit more than you think you need so that you have it ready for later. I'm a big, huge meal prep person, so Sunday is my meal prep day. If you guys want to, pop on to my VIP page here and you can meal prep with me if you like. I have got some workshops that are coming up, so we are going to do some meal prep and meal planning workshops to help folks get their food budgets under control and save a little money. Nutrition is really important to us too, as of course my husband and I are whole food plant-based primarily. We do splurge a little bit, hence the meatballs, but usually it's whole food plant-based. So it's not even really vegan, it's mostly whole food plant-based. So there's a little bit of difference, but it's all good. It's all good. We splurge a little bit just like everybody else, so we just don't hit Dairy Queen, When you are working on your meal plan, and a lot of people get absolutely inundated with the thought process of actually planning a meal. And what I suggest is, instead of trying to do everything for the entire week, try small chunks first. Do all of your lunches or all of your dinners, or at least 5 lunches and 5 dinners, especially if you've got kids in school or you take your lunches for work. That's another workshop. That's another workshop for you, is comparisons for lunches. That's a huge one, and I will share more of that on another day. But think ahead, really plan. I know a lot of people hate the planning part, but it really is the key to minimizing your food expenses and using every dollar wisely. I hate throwing out food. I despise throwing out food. Doesn't mean I'm going to eat it if it's spoiled. No. But I want to make sure that I buy only what I'm going to use or prepare and freeze. Prepare and portion for lunches, portion for dinners, and freeze the rest. And when I get done on Sunday, my refrigerator looks like Jenga because I've got everything stacked, everything prepared. So throughout the week, I don't have to think about breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I do all three. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner usually. Sometimes we'll decide if we want to do something a little quick, like if I've got a lot of cookies going or whatever. So we may decide on a veggie burger or, something else. Maybe I'll do smashed waffle potatoes, or something. But something quick and easy. And then other times it's like, nope, we've got everything right there. So you take it out, pack your lunch, you get your fruit, you get your snack, and boom, we do overnight oats for breakfast, so our breakfasts are done, and we get all the nutrition that we need out of lots and lots of fruits and veggies, and you can't beat it. All right, so we've got 10 minutes and 48 seconds left on our bars, and these things smell so good. I'm going to tell you right now, I really want to try this recipe with some other fruits, and maybe strawberry, cashew. Oh, the wheels are turning, y'all. This could be dangerous. So, that looks good. It looks so good. So I'm going to go ahead and grate up some of my Parmesan. Now, I'm using our double-sided collapsible grater. Now, this one has small grate.
I don't know that.
Oh, there goes my thing over here, my talker, my little Amazon thing. I can't say it because we got 4 of them, so we've got all 4 names. The other side has a large, okay, Amazon, stop. Sorry. So the other side has a large grate, and this is a really large one, so it's perfect for, like, if you like big shreds of cheese, small shreds, this is perfect. Now, this is great because you can use it as an easel. You can use it just like this. Or you can, if I can get it positioned right, take it apart, and you can use only one side. So you don't have to worry about both sides getting dirty if you're only using one, right? I like that because that's less I gotta put in the dishwasher or less I gotta wash. Has a nice cover over the top of it, so it covers those, so you put it in the drawer. You don't have to worry about reaching in and cutting yourself with this. So cover, it's awesome, awesome. So I'm only gonna need about a half a cup of the Parmesan. So, and as I said, I have some plant-based Parmesan. I know folks are like, plant-based Parmesan, how can you do that? Trust me, it really tastes like regular dairy Parmesan. I was surprised, totally surprised. I can get this off. All right, I'm gonna get that, peel it back. I don't ever like taking the plastic completely off of cheeses, because once you do that, I don't know, it seems like it molds faster, I don't know. So I'm just gonna peel that plastic back. I'm gonna use it as a help keep my hands clean, and I'm just gonna grate. Literally, this thing is wicked sharp. I will tell you, I have cut my fingers on this. I don't know how, I have a scar on my thumb. I totally have a scar on my thumb, because this sucker is sharp. Alrighty, so there we go. All right, so there is our half cup of, I'm gonna cover this because I do not want to grab it and cut myself, and it's gonna go right in the sink. It can go in the dishwasher, it's completely dishwasher safe. Put it in the top rack. I just take the cover off and I stack them side by side and put them right in the top rack of the dishwasher, and they are clean as a whistle and so easy. The only thing I will tell you is if your dishwasher has really, really super strong jets, be very careful. Make sure that anything that can get pushed off to one side and down in between those rungs, it can end up in the very bottom. You do not want that on your heating element. Nope, don't want it. All right, so we have our cheese ready. So when that comes out, we're gonna top it with our cheese and pop it back into the oven for just a couple minutes, just long enough to melt the cheese. A little bit longer for me because vegan cheese does not melt the same as regular cow's milk or buffalo milk or goat's milk cheese. It just does not melt that fast. It will melt, but not quite as fast. So sometimes we'll leave it in there. We'll underbake first, then add our cheese or our faux cheese, and then bake it for a little bit longer, then so it gives it time to melt. That's entirely up to you. So tonight we did our banana walnut bars. Okay, if you were able to check it out. Italian meatball rice bake. Now, I am going to post a link to this video. I'm going to upload it to my YouTube channel here as soon as we get done, and I'm going to post a link here in the group and in our party page too, so that you can come back and watch it. If you didn't get to see it or you only caught the last end of it, that's fine. I totally get it. We're all busy. So if you want the recipes, comment below, and I will definitely send you a link to those recipes right on my website. So many wonderful things. Oh yeah, almost forgot too. When you do your meatballs, or even that banana walnut bar, you can increase your nutrition with our enrichables. Now, I normally put our veggie or our pea protein in tomato-based products, but you can actually use the pea protein in baked goods and it doesn't change the flavor. So legit, I have mine in a jar because I keep ripping the bags. I rip the zippers, I get so excited. Rip. The next thing you know, I've got a broken zipper on my bag. So I just put mine in jars and keep it handy right here on my counter. So I have one for our kale and fiber, one for our pea protein, and one for our super veggie, and you can't beat them. So if you got somebody who doesn't really eat well, if you got some really picky eaters, it's a great way to slide in some nutrition without them really knowing it's there. All right, guys, so that is it for me. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, pop them in the comments below, and I will come back and answer anything that you have. If you want more information on any of the products I used today, I used a lot. There's some of my favorites. I mean, everything in my kitchen I think is all Pampered Chef except for that KitchenAid back there. I do have our mixer too, and it's sitting over here, so I'm a 2-mixer household. But Hobby Baker, I kind of need that. All right, guys, I am out of here. It's 20 after 8. It's almost been an hour. Oh my gosh. Didn't think it was going to take that long. We've got 4 minutes left on our bar cookie, And I'm kind of stalling here. Because I want you guys to see it so bad. This is amazing. I am so very, very excited. Oh, it's yummy. I can't wait. It's going to be so yummy. You could change that up, definitely. You could use a different pan. If you want to do like our large bar pan, you could do that. If you want to make a half recipe, you could make a half recipe and put it in a small bar pan. Even you could bake that in the air fryer. Use those modular sheet pans, those two small modular sheet pans. A half recipe split between the two of those. Bake it right in the air fryer, and that would be amazing. You don't have to heat up the oven. You don't have to heat up the house, so it'd be a great treat. Even when the summertime hits and the temperatures go up, you don't have to be without a nice little treat. So, let's see. Oh, so close, guys, so close. See what else I can talk about before we have to take that out, because I definitely want you to see that. The other thing is Pampered Chef. This is one of the last days of the month. They have a fantastic deal on our deluxe stand mixer. This is amazing. I really, really, really do love it. I didn't think I was going to like it as much as because I'm a KitchenAid kind of gal, but this mixer also has a digital function. It's totally digital, and it has presets, so I don't have to worry about cranking it up too high. My KitchenAid, I start out really slow and I have to manually adjust it. This one you don't. So keep an eye out on the page, because I'm going to do another demo with that really soon, because I've actually been using it to make some of my royal icing for my cookies that I've been making. So if you check out my page, you'll see those too. Ooh, this is so close. This is so close, y'all. So very close, and it smells so yummy. I definitely think I want to try it with another flavor. I think I want to try it with some strawberries and maybe some cashews, because I think that would be a really good combination. Cashews are that nice buttery compared to that tart sweet strawberry. I think that would be an amazing combination. You could change out also the fat in that cookie as well. So if you wanted to reduce the sugar and reduce the fat, you could certainly do that with other options. So you could use coconut oil, or you could even use applesauce. If you use applesauce only and no butter or no other kind of fat, you're going to want to make sure that you oil that stone a little bit heavier, because you want to make sure that it comes out, it lifts off of there. Because of the butter, there's so much butter to sugar and flour ratio, it's not going to have a problem coming out of that pan. There's a lot of fat in it. You can see it. You can feel it in the dough. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. But if you reduce that or take it out altogether, you will want to make sure that you oil that stone very, very nicely. Woohoo! Alrighty. Let's take them out. And then let's see what we got. See, I stalled long enough. Just long enough. Oh, gotta do that. It's kind of like clicking tongs, right? Whew. Yum. Oh, look at that, y'all. Doesn't that look yummy? Those little chocolate chips peeking out through there. It smells so good. Absolutely yummo. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn up my oven. I'm gonna pop our meatballs in, if I can do it without spilling it. It is liquid. All right, so we're gonna turn. Okay, so we're gonna turn it up 15 degrees, and then we're gonna put our timer on 50 minutes. Probably gonna do 45, and then I'll check it. All right, there we go. So that's in there, and I will post a picture of what that looks like when I get it all cheesy and gooey and melty. But we're gonna let this cool for just a few minutes, and then I'm gonna put on our powdered sugar and cinnamon, cut it in bars, and we'll wrap it up. And work treats tomorrow, y'all. Work treats. Gotta love it. Okay, everybody, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below. And I would love, love, love to do a party for you. To my local peeps, if you're local to me, I need to do a live party, y'all. I am so excited to actually get to start doing live parties, and I haven't had enough experience. So if you would like for me to come to your kitchen and do up a couple recipes for you and your friends, I would appreciate the practice, and then I get to cook for you. All right? So let me know. Pop it in the comments below if you're down with that, and I will get with you and we'll set a date, a hot date for a sweet treat. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.